Tutor. And in today's class, it will be a continuation of our previous class on developing paragraphs. This is actually a series. This is like the fourth to the fifth class we are taking on this course. So we will continue from where we stopped the last time. So I'm just going to quickly share the link to the class. All right. I think I just need to quickly distribute the link. Okay. Do that very quickly. Awesome. That has link has been shared. So I'm just gonna continue and hopefully YouTube does its thing and the link sends to them and it's distributed. So tonight, just like as I said earlier on, so tonight, just like as I said earlier on, just like I said earlier, it's a continuation of a course. Just like I said earlier, it's a continuation of a course. Just 103 communication skill, um, English language and communication skill. This is a course for management students in their first year. It's a course to take. I'm just trying to adjust this very quickly. Okay, yeah, I think that's better. Yeah, I think that's better. You it's better this way. I don't know why this thing is reflecting. Okay, let me just fix that. All right. I think it's better this way. Okay. I think I should adjust a bit. So yeah. Yeah, I think it's better this way. I think my face is just sorry, just trying to fix my camera. Yeah, yeah, all good. I think we go this way. So let's get straight into it. Turn on just my screen and we are good to go. Okay, it's continuation of a course, GST 102, English language and communication skill. So we have tonight we're taking, it's a continuation of we've been talking about developing paragraph, and in our last class we spoke about we discussed at length about how you can use illustration and description to develop your paragraph, and we were able to establish the things that you should, if you're using the illustration method, we're able to establish the things you should, the spices, your recipe for um, paragraph you are using the description method and also the illustration method. So we have as that. So tonight we are going to be talking about effects and definitions. So I beg your pardon, the cause and effects method of developing a paragraph. So definitely we're going to be looking at the definition of both. So about the previous paragraph, about the previous class, we said something about illustration and we said something about description. And right now, definitely level of developing paragraphs has improved. And now we are getting to know several ways at which we can develop our paragraph. So the objective for tonight's class is going to be use cause and effects technique to develop paragraph. That's what we're going to be learning tonight. Analyze paragraph containing cause and effect sentences. Analyze paragraph with definitions. Apply the definition technique to development of paragraph. The use of comparison and contrast to develop a paragraph. So all this we're going to learn tonight. So let's just head straight into it. So we have what is cause and effect. Definition of cause and effect. Now, Besides using illustration and description to develop the topic of your paragraph, you may, in some cases, need to use the technique of cause and effect. Now, we often have occasions in our lives to ask, why did it happen? Or what will happen if there's a point in our life whereby we get to this point whereby we ask, why did this happen? And what if this happens? So we ask questions like this, and then we try to find the cause and the effect of an event. So you may, for instance, want to know the cause of your poor grades. It's an illustration. You may, for instance, what led to the cause, what led to the bus accidents, or the effects or consequences of taking drugs or deforestation. These are cause and effect. Now, what about cause? Analyzing the cause can be quite a complex task. Could be quite a complex task. Now, for example, a daughter rebelling against her father and leaving home may have an apparent immediate cause. Now, this is an illustration. You are trying to use young lady refers to have a daughter. So, which you are trying to use the illustration of the consequences that comes that applies if she leaves. She becomes rebellious, and the consequences that applies is she leaves the and but there may also be chain of causes going back into past. Now, thus there are likely to be many causes, not just one. Now, what could have led the daughter of the child of a man being rebellious to him? It might not necessarily be just a thing. It might be a series of episodes that must have led to the rebellious attitude. So let's find out. Now, when you write, you can follow any of these patterns. Now, you may discuss one or more causes, one or more causal connections between events. You may trace a chain of events in which A is the cause of B, which is the cause of C, which causes D, and so on. Now, the choice between one cause and several causes is often not a free option. Usually, your topic will determine it. Now, this simply means, speaking about the cause effect of the cause effect of developing your paragraph. Definitely, you have to talk about what are chains and connections of events that might have led to this particular cause. When you work with several causes or reasons, you face the problem of arranging them in a significant order. The method at which you arrange them, you have to arrange the event in a significant order, and all has to follow through. Just like we have coherence in our previous class. So we have it is a reason. If the reasons follow a logical pattern, if the main event is caused by A, and A in turn by B, and B in turn by C, the organization is predictable. But sometimes the reasons or causes may be parallel, all contributing to the same result. Now, that's true. Then a good strategy is to begin with the least important cause and conclude with the most important. That is one way you can actually achieve that. You need to begin with the least important, and as it goes on, then you conclude with the most important. So we have, when developing a topic which is supported by reasons or causes, remember to make it clear whenever you are dealing with an immediate cause or an earlier cause, a direct cause or an indirect cause. Now we have consider multiple causes. Now account for all the links in the sequence of causes. Now write about all the causes of reasons with details. All these things are very necessary. And let's take this illustration. We have development of paragraph by listing the causes. Now we have hills and mountains are slowly worn away over thousands of years by the process of erosion. Now, erosion takes place wherever on earth. Erosion takes place everywhere on earth. Now, there are several forces of erosion. Now we have the glaciers, which carry rocks weighing thousands of tons. We have the frosts, which causes small cracks on rock sides. We have strong wind, which wear away exposed rock in deserts. By far, the greatest cause of erosion, however, is the action of water on rock. Water carries chemicals dissolved in it that soften rocks. I never knew of this. Yes, this is one of the aha moments. Water carries chemicals dissolved in it that soften rocks. Now, this softening in the fourth stage of erosion called weathering. Now, rainwater falling on hills runs onto streams and rivers, and this carry weathering rock away. Millions of years in the future, your favorite hills will have been worn completely away by erosion. So you can see how this piece of writing by Dougal Dixon and Franklin Worth, you can see how everything is arranged step by step. It's the topic sentence is more about the wearing of rocks by erosion, and you can see it started by saying hills and mountains are slowly worn away over thousands of years, and it proceeds by thousands of years by process of erosion. Now, speaking of erosion, erosion takes place everywhere on Earth. It takes place everywhere on Earth, and it doesn't just come like that. It brings a lot of damages to rocks, and it follows. So we have that as that. So we have effects. Now, effects or consequences can be handled in the same way as reasons or causes. But now the main idea is regarded as causing the consequences discussed in the rest of the paragraph. The paragraph may deal with only a single effect or refer to several effects. Now, if several consequences on are listed, one must be careful to distinguish between the major and the minor ones. Now, let's take this for example, developing a paragraph by listing effects. Now, an earthquake strikes without warning. When it does, its power is immense. If it strikes a modern city, the damage it causes is as great as if it has struck a primitive village. Gas main bursts, explosions are caused, and fire are started. Underground railways are wrecked. Old buildings collapse. Dams burst. Bridges fall. Gaping crevice appears in busy streets. If the quake strikes at sea, huge tidal waves sweep island. If it strikes in mountain regions, avalanches roll down into the valley. Consider the terrifying statistics from the past. In the year 1755, Lisbon, capital of Portugal, the city destroyed entirely and 450 killed. 1970, Peru, 50,000 killed. It's a piece of writing from the world of wonder, from Can We Stop Earthquake? That the piece was extracted from the article Can We Stop Earthquake, and we have that as that. So as you can see, details of the effect, detail of the effect. Now I spoke about, there's a problem. Yeah, something led to earthquake, but that was not what it was particular about. Unlike the very first one that we did, that it was listing what causes earthquake, what causes erosion. But in this case, the effects method of writing your paragraph now speaking more about, although it actually says something about what led to the earthquake, but it was particular more on the effect of earthquake, and it spoke about causing fire, people dying, dams burst, bridge falls, gaping crevice appear in busy streets, building collapse, underground railways are wrecked. More on the effects. So that's how it works. So we have that as that. So we have cause and effect. We have discussed a paragraph which gives reasons to support a topic and a paragraph which deals with effect. Often, however, cause and effect are more closely related, forming a chain where A gives rise to B, exactly, to C as well, and so on. In such a link, B is both a consequence of A and a cause of C. The paragraph below illustrates such a chain. Now we have a chain whereby um, A led to B and B led to C. The cause and effect way of writing paragraphs. So the cause, then led to the effect. Now we have without sunlight, there can be no form of life. As we know, it all have man's basic needs and can be ultimately traced back to the sun. Now, all man basic needs can ultimately be traced back to the sun in the first place by its light and warmth. The sun directly provides man with water. For the heat of the sun causes the damp air over the sea to rise and form clouds, which cool at a high altitude and consequently fall as rain. Now, one result of rainfall is the formation of lakes and rivers from which man takes his water supply and which can be used for hydroelectric power. At the same time, rain together with sunlight enables plants to grow, and plants provide food for man and also for animals, which are themselves another source of food for man. This is wonderful. So as you can see, sunlight is the main topic. So the effect of sunlight traced down to um, the fact that man basic needs comes from sunlight. Now, sunlight is the main point, and man basically sunlight leads to providing of man basically needs, and man basically um, break down to what the sun provides, the warmth, and provides heat, and this heat in return the um, makes the damp air over the sea and rise to form clouds which cool at high altitude. So all these things work together, the cause, the effect, and everything led to something. So that is for both cause and effect. So we have that as that. So I think now definition. Often we write, we need to explain. Often when we write, we need to explain what sometime, beg your pardon, what something is or means, especially if we feel that our readers may um, not be familiar with it. Now, this generally happens when we use technical terms or when we want to give our meaning to our ordinary word. Now, the simplest way to define a term is by giving synonyms or by placing the word in general class, then distinguishing it from other parts of the class. Now we have that as that. So I think that is a bit not what we are looking at tonight. So we have definition. Okay, paragraph developed by definition. Okay, okay, now we have definitions. Now it's basically talking about paragraph defined by definition. This is a paragraph whereby we need to explain, we need to define what we are talking about in particular, and we also have that as that. So we have comparison and contrast. And we have the paragraph by comparison and contrast. So far we've been discussing ways of developing paragraphs which deal with only one topic. We're speaking about the effect, speaking about the cause. Now, sometimes a topic can be developed by showing how two things are like or how they are different. Speaking of comparison and contrast, now comparison is basically how you compare two things, two events, and comparison because they actually work hand in hand. So our decisions are often based on comparison and contrast. So we have, for instance, comparison and contrast dominate our thoughts when we decide to join a particular college or university. Now, when we choose a career or a job, and even when we buy a particular brand of toothpaste, we often compare our teachers, our neighbors, Now this the cities we have been to, the food served, and so on and so on. Now we generally compare or contrast two items for three basic purposes. Now we wish to point out the distinction in order to give more information about two things. We wish to clarify the unfamiliar by comparing it with the familiar. We wish to show superiority of one thing over other when we compare two cars, for example. Now let's take these 3 points. For distinction, we compare and contrast for three important things: for distinction purpose, for familiarity purpose, and for superiority purpose. So we have that as that. Okay, we have paragraphs developed by comparison. We have the existence of hierarchy helps to assure order and discipline, and these things are important among monkeys just as they are among humans. Okay, basically this is just an illustration explained to us whereby comparison where two objects will definitely be spoken about and the both will be discussed and compared. Okay, analyze of paragraph. Okay, we have comprehension. Okay, we have okay, developing paragraph by contrast. Now, okay, we have we live on Earth. Okay, contrast, yeah, is basically more of developing paragraph of comparison. I think let's just go through this together very quickly. We live on the Earth. Okay, yeah, yeah. I think yeah. Contrast is just it's more of making your making just trying to know which is better than which, just like we are saying in comparison, but it's a bit more in-depth than comparison. So we have that as that. So we have our conclusion. We have in unit we introduce the illustration and description to develop paragraph. Now in this unit we extended the paragraph development procedure to use of cause and effect, definition, compare and contrast. Now you will agree that these techniques are extremely useful in writing. They are techniques you should use in day-to-day writing. More importantly, they are useful in academic writing. So we have discussed different techniques of developing paragraphs in this unit. Technique include the use of cause and effect, definition, compare and contrast. Thank you very much, guys. This brings us to the end of tonight's class, and in our subsequent tutorial we're taking formal letters, this stylistic form and essential parts. So thank you very much, guys. It's been great having you around, and I'm sticking to the end of this class. So I look forward to see you in the next class. To enjoy the rest of the evening. Bye bye.